Man, we about to get back into some crypto education. If you've been watching the videos I posted related to crypto on my channel, I've discussed or I've mentioned DeFi, decentralized finance, quite a bit in some of those videos. So today we're starting a new series called Creating Passive Income with Crypto. And this series is going to encompass all the basics of DeFi or decentralized finance. Because there's more to digital assets or investing in digital assets than just buying, holding, and waiting for the price of that asset to appreciate. There are ways for you to put your assets to work, quite literally, and bring back a passive income. Now, depending on the network, will determine reward rate, reward value, all these different types of things. So in this video, we're going to talk about what state we're going to pay attention, or we're going to focus mainly on staking, what it is, the risks associated, the different types of staking, the effects or the impact staking can have on the various networks that you can stake on, and things of that nature. So yeah, let's get right into it. All right. So this is creating passive income with crypto video one. We're going, like I said, we're going to pay attention mostly to staking today, and then we'll get right into the content. So let's look at today's agenda. So we already had a quick intro. Then we'll get into what is staking. We'll talk about the staking effects and the different impacts that staking can have, because you're not the only one that's benefiting from staking. We'll get into the different types of staking. I'll give you some example networks that you can stake on. We'll talk about reward generation. And then, of course, this video would not be well-rounded if we did not discuss the risks associated with staking, because just like everything else in this world, especially in crypto, nothing is risk-free. And then we'll wrap this video up with a quick conclusion. So let's get right into the content. What exactly is staking? Well, staking involves a token lockup, which means crypto tokens are committed for a period of time to help support network operations. We'll discuss what network operations I'm meaning or I'm speaking to specifically in a little bit. Um, by staking your crypto tokens, you are passively participating in validating transactions on chain. Rewards are given to those participating in staking almost as like a thank you for assisting in those network operations. So again, another just a stream of revenue possibly for taking on the risk of staking your assets on that particular blockchain. Now, in terms of those network operations I keep mentioning, in the world of blockchain, validating transactions is a key component of ensuring the chain is functioning properly. By taking a passive role in this function, you are doing your part in ensuring the chain continues to be free of attacks. So again, by helping secure the network, like proof of stake network requires, then you are receiving a reward in the form of either the like kind token, meaning this very token you're staking is also the token you're getting paid in. Proof of stake tokens, they are secure, or proof of stake networks are secured by staking value, locking value of that native asset on that chain. So the more tokens that they have staked and locked in the staking contracts, the more secure the network is. And, by staking, you can help a lot of other different network effects. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So, getting into those staking effects, like I said earlier, you are not the only one receiving a benefit from staking. When tokens are staked, the network you're staking on gains additional security through locked tokens, and also can provide, disclaimer here, can provide a stability for token price as more tokens get locked up. Now, this really, really matters. What really determines this is how many tokens are in circulation. So the more tokens in circulation, the more tokens required to be locked up to begin seeing that price stability. Now that can vary by asset. Not all assets are the same. Not all assets have the same circulating supply. So you'll definitely want to pay attention to how much of the token of that particular asset is in circulation, because then that means it require a higher amount of tokens to be locked up to even begin seeing some of those benefits related to price stability. Staking your tokens also encourages users participating to help validate transactions on the chain in a passive way. By doing this, this helps make the chain increasingly less vulnerable to attacks. Also, by locking your tokens, that can reduce sell pressure. Reducing sell pressure, that is what helps with price stability. Now, that sell pressure can be relieved either from the short term or the long term by way of staking, depending on how high the benefits are. Higher APY, that means that high APY is encouraging more staking. The more staking can help relieve sell pressure for either short term or the long term. So staking can impact several different aspects of those network effects that we mentioned earlier. So, getting into the types of staking, there's traditional staking, which is essentially what we've defined in the previous slides. It involves locking up your tokens to help validate transactions in exchange for rewards. Well, the issue with traditional staking is it presents a high opportunity cost. And what is that opportunity cost? Well, yes, on one hand, you may want to stake your tokens, help secure the network, and receive a reward for doing so. But on the other hand, there may be other opportunities on the network that you want to take advantage of. So traditional staking put users in a bind. It made them make a choice. Either go after that higher rewarding opportunity elsewhere in the ecosystem or play a key role in securing the network. Well, most people are going to go after the rewards. There's nothing wrong with that. So enter the innovation of liquid staking. Now, what exactly is liquid staking? Liquid staking allows you to stake your tokens while maintaining that liquidity. Stakers receive a derivative or receipt token in exchange for staking that asset, which represents the liquidity or the value of that asset, so that users can then use that elsewhere in the ecosystem. So liquid staking came about because of this opportunity cost I mentioned with traditional staking, and it allows you to have the best of both worlds. It allows you to stake and secure the network, earn a reward, while also using that same liquidity elsewhere in the ecosystem to take advantage of potentially more rewarding aspects of that ecosystem. So we love liquid staking when it's made available. So moving on, NFT staking. So for those that don't know what an NFT is, NFT stands for non-fungible token. And you probably heard a little bit about NFTs. So traditionally, NFTs have been represented by, or at least the even DeGods or Azukis, digital art, block bones, true gems, just to name a few. Now, to compare NFTs to something real world, think of, because NFTs in the digital asset space are looked at as social currency, status symbol, all these other different things, right? So something to compare it to in the real world would be like a designer bag or owning a highly sought after painting. If you were to walk into somebody's house and they had a Andy Warhol painting hanging up and you knew that's what that was, you would think, oh damn, they probably got some money. When you see people with designer clothing, bags, sunglasses, whatever, really fancy car, people assign a status to that individual owning or sporting that designer bag or whatever the case may be, or driving that really expensive luxury car. Anything we can, humans will turn into a status symbol. So that's what NFTs represent in a way in the world of digital assets. So just a quick example. Don't worry if you don't fully understand NFTs. I have videos coming that explain or do more of a deep dive related to NFTs. So be on the lookout for that. But NFTs have since taken a fall from prominence, right? Back in 2020, 2021, that is what pretty much brought in a lot of new users or new participants in the crypto space is NFTs. And they have since fallen from grace for sure. But as NFTs are starting to make a resurgence and an attempt to get back to prominence, a lot of NFTs are starting to come with additional utilities. So that first rendition of NFTs, you just bought the NFT and hoped it appreciated because it was part of a really popular collection or something like that. NFTs were going on secondary marketplaces for ridiculous amounts of money. I made some money off some NFTs, nothing too crazy, but I definitely participated in the NFT craze. made some profit, but definitely not making profit off of NFTs right now. Not as much as I was before, at least. So I'm like I said, as NFTs start to resurge and trying to reclaim its space in prominence, I'm starting to see utility focused NFTs. So just a couple of examples of some utility that is coming with some NFTs. And mind you, I'm not affiliated with these projects by any means. I may hold these NFTs in my personal collection or my personal portfolio, but I'm not affiliated with the team by any way. So just a little disclaimer. Some examples of some utility driven NFTs would be like True Gems or Gems Pump or Block Bones, just to name a few. In terms of True Gems is a NFT marketplace. And if you hold any of their Genesis passes, you are able to claim a piece or a portion, percentage, if you will, of the profits generated from that platform. So every 30 days, if you staked your NFT, at the end of that 30-day period, you can claim your percentage of the profits that that NFT marketplace generated. So the more NFTs of that collection you have, the more or the higher the percentage of profits you can claim. Same thing with Gems Pump. Gems Pump is a meme generating platform. So if you hold one of their DGen passes, then of course, same thing applies. At the end of a 30-day period, can claim whatever amount or whatever percentage that NFT gives you based on the profits that marketplace generated. In terms of block bones, they have rarity based rewards or bones BNZ airdrops. So the more NFTs of that collection you hold, the higher your airdrop value can be. Um, rarity based rewards, the more rare or the higher rarity of that NFT you may hold is in that collection, then the more rewards you can claim based on rarity. Of course, there's some other extracurriculars that that project in particular has going on for itself. So you would have to want to pay attention to that. But like I said, in this, holders of certain NFTs can stake to earn rewards, usually comes in the form of profit sharing or rarity based. But yeah, we'll get into NFTs, do a deep dive into NFTs in a later video. So moving on. Then you have exchange staking. Now, what exchange staking is, it's basically centralized exchanges can offer staking services. This may indeed be an easier option for the common person, but participants risk receiving, I say higher here, but you risk receiving a lower APY by going through an exchange to do so than if you were to just stake the assets yourselves. So basically, that lower APY is it's lower because you're essentially paying that exchange for their services. They take a little bit off the top, and they give you the rest. So I don't really go this route. I don't really encourage a lot of people to go this route for several other reasons that we'll get into later, especially when we talk about risks. Um, but I do understand that for the common person, you may not care about the lower APY, especially because yes, the APY might be lower, but depending on the amount or the value of the tokens in which you're staking, you may not care about that because you may not be able to make that type of APY anywhere else. So simplicity, convenience, things of that nature may be the driver for go through exchange staking. Nothing wrong with that. Just a difference of approach, difference of strategy. So, some examples of networks that you can stake on. Ethereum being the OG. Ethereum introduced smart contracts to the blockchain space. They have validator staking, all types of stuff. You also have Flare, Solana, Hedera Hashgraph, who all have similar staking capabilities. Now, depending on the network, the APYs and the overall benefit of staking may be different, but for the most part, the concept is the same. All right, so now we're getting into the risks of staking because, like I said, it's not always risk free. Not anything is risk free. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. In terms of risk, you have price volatility. So, in terms of price volatility, the value of your staked tokens can fluctuate quite a bit depending on the asset. This also applies to the rewards being paid out. So, if you're staking an asset and getting paid in that staked asset for rewards, if the price is going up and down, that can affect your rewards, but that can also affect your principal balance. So, ultimately, price volatility could impact, could really impact the benefit of staking, It depends on your strategy, all types of stuff. So something that you definitely want to pay attention to. Then you have liquidity risks. Most networks have an unbonding period or cooldown upon unstaking tokens. This requires you to wait for a period of time before tokens are back in your wallet, potentially putting you in a position to miss out on other opportunities. Now, this really mainly applies to traditional staking, not necessarily liquid staking. So, if you're going down, if a network or service you are participating in operates in more of a traditional staking manner, then this is something that would impact you and something that you definitely want to pay attention to. Then you have validator staking. So when it comes to, or not validator staking, validator risk. Basically, when you stake, you're staking to a validator or an entity operating a validator on that. So there's a couple of things you want to pay attention to with that. So a validator could perform poorly, which could impact your rewards, or it could have downtime, which means assets you delegate to this validator is not earning rewards. So definitely something you want to pay attention to. Definitely something you want to do some due diligence and research on before actually staking your assets. And then you have platform risk. This really only, well, I won't say it only applies to centralized exchanges. This could also apply to staking directly via smart contract. So just to be fair to centralized platforms, but there's still a nuance and a difference. Um, Centralized platforms can offer staking services like we talked about. They may be easier to understand for the common person, but they represent several risks like bankruptcy, hacks, or other technical issues. Like I said, this could also impact smart contracts. A smart contract could be hacked, or experience other technical issues. The only difference, though, is that at least staking directly in a smart contract, you're removing the middleman, right? By staking through a centralized platform, you're introducing the middleman. So just one less risk vector that you would have to worry about if you were to stake directly through the smart contract. And then, of course, inflation. Some tokens have high inflation rates, which can indeed dilute the value of your rewards over time. If the inflation rate outpaces the token appreciation, then it's very hard to realize any real gains when staking. So, a lot of tokens that offer some type of staking delegation type reward mechanism do indeed have inflation rates and inflation schedules. So, what I've noticed is solid projects, they tend to have a well thought out inflation schedule. And you definitely want to pay attention to that, especially if inflation is introduced. Because if inflation is perpetual, it never goes down, then that's an issue. But if there's an inflation schedule where it might be 10% at the onset of the network, the genesis of the network, then it may go down to 8, 5, 3, 1. Over the years, that inflation rate should go down. That inflation schedule will show you or tell you what the rates will be as the network matures. Then obviously over time, at first, you may earn more in token amount, but the dollar amount may be less. But over time, you'll earn less in token amount, but that dollar amount should be increasing over time as inflation goes down. So definitely something you want to pay attention to. And then in conclusion, staking is a very basic yet lucrative opportunity more crypto investors should take advantage of. Most networks offer staking capabilities, but not all do. It is important to understand which networks offer staking services, what the requirements are, because some do have a minimum token amount before you can even stake. So it's definitely something you want to look out for. You want to understand what their mechanics are, like inflation rates and inflation schedule, to ensure staking will indeed provide a reward for you based on the risk you're taking. But once you vetted all of that and you feel comfortable and you want to stake, it's quite literally as simple as stake, earn, and repeat. Not a whole lot to think about. But with that being said, let me know in the comments. Are you staking on any network? What networks are you staking on? Are you participating in other means of DeFi? Did you find this video informative? Let me know all of that in the comments below. But also be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.